Who's the source of that? What I find, we reported it on this network. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott, stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's not accurate, and you know it.
Okay,
CNN had a meltdown last night over the potential idea that Elon Musk could be buying MSNBC. The Prime Minister of Canada and the President of Mexico has responded to Trump's threat over tariffs. And Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, has some choice words for the Denver mayor who is becoming defiant over the mass deportation plans. All of this and more in this video today, but let's start with Carrie Champion, who refuses to accept how balanced X is across the political spectrum. Check this out.
Also, I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott, stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes.
You cannot continue to say that.
You cannot say that. That's not the case. Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
It's not accurate, and you know it.
Okay, I'll let you make your statement.
Now, the one thing that we love about the internet is if it's been uploaded, chances are we can go track it down. And of course, CNN did report on this fact that it is balanced. And here it is for yourself. Check this out.
Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%. And what I should note, Mr. Berman, is this new overall makeup matches the overall electorate.
Hopefully she comes back on the air and admit that she was wrong. And this is why there's a low level of trust as it pertains to these legacy media companies. I mean, I find it funny that she put herself in that position all because she's just too emotional and doesn't want to accept what the truth is. But let's continue.
Can I reframe it a different way? Because the site changed radically, right? So whether you think the voices it is somehow more balanced now, that's fine. But no doubt Musk's influence is profound, and that you open it up and now you're there with his opinion, and he is now part of this administration. So does anyone else think that there should be this greater concern about billionaires purchasing media companies?
Okay. Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
No, because he's sane.
Because
So let me repeat that for you guys, because it was right at the end of the clip. Would you be upset if Bill Gates purchased MSNBC? And what did she say in response? No, because he is sane. So what you are essentially saying is you don't want Elon Musk to buy MSNBC because you personally don't like him. All right, so here are some of my bottom lines for this entire exchange, right? Carrie Champion's denial highlights how the left cannot handle losing control of the narrative, particularly the monopoly of truth, really. Musk has given conservatives a level playing field and is driving the legacy media insane. I definitely agree to that. Secondly, before Musk took over X, by the way, Twitter was heavily criticized for censoring conservative voices while amplifying leftist narratives. And now that's not happening. You have people like her who are losing it, right? But wait, there's more. Here she is claiming that under a Trump administration, free speech is not going to be free anymore. We're not going to be able to say what we want. And she does not believe MSNBC will be sold either. I mean, just straight up denialism at this point.
X, and you said in some ways, always. I feel like X, I don't know if anyone is on it in any capacity. I don't know if you're on it. And you're the only one? You're on it? You all are on it? Okay. I've actually decided to take a rest of peace because it is not a peaceful place for me. And I know if, in fact, you don't agree with this current administration, most people can say that it's not a peaceful place. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual bid made to take on MSNBC, but the fact that it just can't happen.
So what's really going on here, right? So Carrie Champion is clearly dismissing the idea that Elon Musk has the potential to purchase MSNBC. Listen, guys, Elon Musk is the richest person in America. He definitely has a shot at buying MSNBC. Now, will he? That's up for debate. But does he have an actual chance? Of course he does. It's about the bottom line to those people. Listen, Musk's ability to acquire Twitter in the past proved that he has the ability to defy whatever doubts or odds that are against them in doing something like that, right?
Yeah, and we just can't. It's not even for sale.
Yeah, it's not officially for sale.
The last
it's not
time he
even realistic.
mused about maybe buying something,
it's not even realistic in real life. But I do believe that media, everyone sitting here at this table, if you don't agree, we are in for some tough. We're in for some tough years ahead. I do believe that we are not going to be able to be as safe or say what we want to. I don't think free speech is going to be as free.
Now, Scott, I want to bring you in here because this kind of link to Orban.
Understand something. She's also arguing that free speech won't be free under Trump. It just reveals that, you know, her fear of free speech, and particularly people on the left, that they would rather control the flow of information. And when they can't control something, they get out of control, right? And that's what's happening now. So because they have these fears when it comes to free speech, how do these liberals respond? Well, they want to regulate free speech. Listen to this.
Platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable.
I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory structure
over public airways.
that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook and
there's
Twitter.
Still, what she's saying is that there's still a litmus test of journalism that you have to pass. You can't come on TV and just make up things and say things. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It happens often on X. I can go and say the color is blue and I will be met with so many disrespectful remarks. No one's regulating the N-word. No one's regulating the criticism. No one is regulating how people are treated.
How much government regulation of the First Amendment are you for?
Let me tell you something. If I came on here and I just started calling you all kind of names, do you think the bosses would let me continue to do that?
I mean, it happens to me occasionally. I don't know if you watch
it doesn't happen to you, but it doesn't happen for me. And I know that I wouldn't be able to do that. There's a level of professionalism in what we do here because we are journalists and we adhere to something, at least morally. And there is no moral compass on this thing called
You're also having a...
Yeah, so she's being lazy with the argument. Do you think the bosses will allow me to be nasty towards you, Scott Jennings? Of course not, because either one, you have a contract with CNN. That's why you're on there, right? And I'm sure in the contract, it specifies you can't say X, Y, or Z or behave in an X, Y, or Z manner, right? There is no contract on X. There's terms of service. So that she's being very lazy there, right? So that's number one. Number two, the reality is what's happening on X is not illegal. We saw the clip between Elon Musk and Don Lemon, where Don Lemon was trying to push the same narrative, which is, how could you allow all this stuff to happen? Why are you not moderating on the platform?
We delete things if they are illegal.
But these have been up there for a while.
Are they illegal?
They're not illegal, but they're hateful and they can lead to violence. As I just read to you, the shooters, you know, in all of these mass shootings, attributed social media to radicalizing.
So Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying?
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in
censorship. Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
But don't you think free speech is one thing, right? Or not, you know.
Look, if something's illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors.
Now, before we move on to the next story, if you guys are getting value from this video, please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop the merch store, or buy us a cup of coffee. Okay, so let's look at the bigger picture here. When they can't control the flow of information, liberals call for what? Censorship or moderation, right? Which is a lazy term. Now, when they can't control the narrative, their main tactic is fear-mongering. That's what takes us to this next story, is the fear tactics around Trump's threat to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico. And here is CNN's top economic advisor promoting fear tactics around Trump's tariff strategy. Check this out.
If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring down the cost of housing, a lot of our lumber, cement, other materials comes from Canada, which means that construction costs are going to go up. Not to mention all of the ways he's going to roil the U.S. auto industry, because a lot of autos cross borders in North America multiple times before they're ultimately finished and sold to consumers. Not to mention the fact that a lot of U.S. manufacturers purchase inputs, intermediate goods like metals and cement and other things from Canada, from Mexico. And not to mention even the retaliation that we should expect. All of which is going to be very bad for consumers, not to mention, again, many of the U.S. workers that Trump allegedly wants to help.
What about Tequila?
So listen, she has a rap for doing one thing, focusing on problem, not the solution. So that's what her reaction is to Trump threatening to impose a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada due to the illegal migration and drugs pouring over the border. I mean, that's what they go to, is they're focused on the problem. Well, here's what's wrong with that. And here's what's wrong with that. And here's what could happen in a hypothetical situation. None of them are providing actual solutions. So, of course, our favorite conservative, Scott Jennings on CNN, here's his response.
Laundry list.
You know, the last time Catherine and I were on, you were saying that if Trump deports illegal immigrants, our groceries are going to go up because who will pick our crops? Now you're saying if he does tariffs, you're saying, well, the groceries come from Mexico and Canada.
Yeah,
so
we do produce quite a bit of
you have now officially had it both ways.
All of the groceries,
but
these things are not mutually exclusive. The groceries that we consume
you just said all the produce is coming from Mexico. But before we were all together, you were saying, no, it's all picked by illegals here in the U.S.
I said nothing of the sort.
We do actually.
Here's the better question that everybody on both sides should be asking themselves. How much is it worth? Well, what do you mean, Devori? How much is your security worth to you? How much is knowing that your family will be safe, whether you live 100 feet from the border or you're living in Michigan? How much is your family's safety worth to you? How much is being able to see local businesses thrive in our economy worth to you? How much is it worth to you to know that your son or daughter is not going to be exposed to fentanyl? How much is it worth to you to know that kids are not being child trafficked across the border? That's the real question for Americans right now, right? And so when we see these people on these news channels pushing these fear tactics about Trump's tariffs, they're missing the whole idea here. Is it worth it to America to impose tariffs as a tool in order to make sure that these other countries respect our boundaries? So they could continue to push these fear tactics around Trump's threats, but results are already pouring in because Trump is a real president, right? He's a confident leader. He's not playing games. And as a result, people respond to that. Like the Prime Minister of Canada has already come out and stated that he had a phone call 25 minutes after Trump posting that on social media. Here's what was said. He said that it was a good call. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. And this led to Deputy Prime Minister and the Public Safety Minister as well, releasing a statement saying law enforcement agencies from our respective countries work together every single day to disrupt the flow of fentanyl coming from China and other countries. And they also went on to say that Trudeau said he has convened a meeting with his counterparts this week to discuss the United States. There's work to do, but we know how to do it. Listen, take from this whatever you want, but one thing is for sure. When Trump speaks, people respond. When Biden speaks, I don't think most people were responding, if you know what I mean. And of course, the Mexican president responded as well, and she has now confirmed that the migrant caravans will not reach the border after Trump issued those threats. I mean, guys, this is what I mean. Trump knows how to get results, the art of the deal, okay? Let's remember who he is, okay? And here's what she said. Caravans of migrants no longer will reach the border. On Tuesday, while presenting a letter she plans to send to Trump in the coming days, she also emphasized Mexico's efforts to curb the flow of drugs, including the synthetic opioid fentanyl, while noting that it remains a public health and consumption problem within your country's society. But trying to explain that to the Democratic mayors and governors, and particularly the Denver mayor who claims that he would go to jail if that meant stopping mass deportation out of his city, I don't think he understands what I just said, right? He's not looking at the return on investment. He's not willing to pay a price for it. He'd rather the problem continue to happen. However, Donald Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, he has some choice words for the Denver mayor. Listen to this.
Tom, you heard this mayor out there in Colorado. I want to get your reaction to it, and I want you to be clear about who has jurisdiction, the federal government or state and local governments. And if you're a sanctuary state or city, are you breaking the law?
You're absolutely breaking the law. All you have to do is look at Arizona versus U.S. You'll see these breaking the law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute. It's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III. And what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, President Trump's been clear. We want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. I find it hard to believe that any mayor or governor would say they don't want public safety threats removed from their neighborhoods. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Denver, but we're going to go and we're going to fix it. If he don't want to fix it, if he don't want to protect his communities, President Trump and ICE will.
Yeah, well, what's going on is what happens in majority of the inner cities in America. They're run by Democratic leaders, right? Particularly these mayors. They're as woke as you can come. I mean, they have more compassion for these illegal migrants than they do for their American cities. And all you have to do to see in a real life scenario what happens when you have people who manage a city in that way is pay attention to San Francisco, pay attention to Oakland. I mean, Oakland is nothing at this point. It's gone, okay? It's done because they've allowed these leaders to run the city into the ground in the name of compassion, right? So maybe these Democratic mayors or governors, they need to stop playing political games because all they're really doing is showing America why they should not vote for Democrats. That's really what's happening here, okay? So listen, Tom Homan, he has a no-nonsense attitude, and that's exactly what we need at the border in this point in time. So now it's your turn to share your opinion in the comment section below about, obviously, Kerry Champion melting down over the idea that Elon could potentially buy MSNBC, claiming that also the X platform is not balanced across the political spectrum. And also, what do you think about CNN's economic advisor claiming that what Trump is going to do will skyrocket grocery prices? What did you think about Tom Homan's response to the Denver mayor that he'd be willing to lock him up? Let us know everything that you guys think in the comment section below. Now, last night, we recorded a video talking about Trump threatening Mexico and Canada. We also talked about the fact that individuals are claiming that DOGE is a waste of taxpayer money. So if you guys want to see us react to that and many stories from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.